In this episode of the Motor City Hypnotist podcast, we are talking about intermittent explosive disorder. This is part 2. If you didn't listen to part 1, you can jump back and listen to that episode and be caught up with us, or you can listen to this one and go back. You'll get the information either way, both ways. And we're giving away free stuff. Hang in there, folks. We'll be right back.
This sounds like something for the authorities in Detroit.
Well, joke's on you. I'm living to 102 and then dying. Like the city of Detroit.
Guys like this antique over here out of Detroit.
Spawned in the hellfires of Motown.
Take him to Detroit.
No, not Detroit. No, please. Anything but that. No.
Stationed in Drambuie. It's worse than Detroit.
We did not have, as a unit, the confidence that we felt like we needed to beat Detroit.
Let's go to Detroit. Now you're talking, brother.
I don't think so. He plays for Detroit now.
Do they have many farms in Detroit?
Detroit. It's in Michigan.
I go to school. I know where Detroit is.
Get ready for the Motor City Hypnotist, David R. Wright, originating from the suburbs of Detroit, Michigan. He has hypnotized thousands of people from all over the United States. David R. Wright has been featured on news outlets all across the country and is the clinical director of an outpatient mental health and hypnosis clinic located just south of Detroit, where he helps people daily using the power of hypnosis. Welcome, the Motor City Hypnotist, David R. Wright.
What is going on, my friends? It is David Wright, the Motor City Hypnotist. We are back with another episode of the Motor City Hypnotist podcast.
We are, and did you know? Did you know?
I don't know, Matt. What do I know? I don't know.
This year, America
Uh-huh.
is 2.5 Mel Brookses old.
Mel Brooks is 100.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. Yeah, I know he was getting up there.
Yes, he is.
You know, the other person that reached 100, and I thought, if she gets there, was June Lockhart.
Oh, yeah?
She died at 100.
Oh, man.
Yeah, on the dot. I mean, I don't know if it was her birthday or not, but it was close.
Hi, I'm
she
Matt
was 100.
Fox. Yep.
But that's Matt Fox, the other voice you hear. We're here in the Palatial Podcast Your Voice, Southfield Studios.
Woo!
Hanging out on a Monday, doing a podcast, having a beverage, and just enjoying life.
Terry and Arnold is no longer alive.
I know. I just saw my son and I were talking about this because as soon as that happened, I thought Dan Campbell's not going to let him stay.
No, God, no.
No. Because I mean, and I would have been disappointed had he let him stay,
right,
because he preaches this culture and this approach that he says, if you don't buy into it, you're not on our team. So I in a way, I'm kind of glad to see that happen.
Yeah.
It's just right.
He made poor choices.
Yes,
and
he made poor choices.
There's no reason for him to flourish in a career when there are other people that are just as talented, whose noses are clean. They're going to do the right thing.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Sorry.
So let me tell you, folks, where you can find me. My website is motorcityhypnotist.com. Check that out. All kinds of good information on there, especially if you want to book a show, whether it be for your fair or festival. I know we're into like summer season, so a lot of fairs and festivals looking for entertainment. Check that out. I will be at the Ogama County Fair in August. I believe it's August. I'm going to say the third weekend in August. It's Friday and a Saturday. I do 2 shows each day. So if you want to come up to West Branch to see my show, come on up, introduce yourselves. I'd love to meet you.
Okay.
That'd be awesome. My social media, Facebook and YouTube, are both Motor City Hypnotists. Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok are all Motor City Hypno.
HYPNO. Yep.
And as we've done every episode, going back to number 1, text the word hypnosis to 313-800-8510. Within a few moments, you'll get a text message from me with a downloadable PDF. It's a hypnosis guide that I've written. And you'll also get a link to my Google business page where you could leave a review, which would be greatly appreciated. And whatever platform you're listening on, whether it's iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher or wherever, leave a review there, because that also helps us get in front of more people and grow the show, which is what we want to do. We want to help everybody. So
as much
more
as we
people
can
get,
yes,
better it is for you and better it is for us. So, all righty, it's time, Matt.
Oh, here we go.
That's how winning is done.
All right, what do we got?
All righty. Wow, this is crazy.
Okay.
Who knew so much power lay behind the simple act of mowing a lawn?
Okay.
That's the opening statement of the article.
All right.
That's what Spencer from SB Mowing, the prolific social media account, has shown us before and is now showing us again as his yard work channels $685,000 to a woman who had no money for rent or groceries.
I've actually watched this video.
Have you?
I have.
I have not seen the video.
He started a GoFundMe for her.
Yes. You see the picture there with her?
That's
Yes.
that's exactly one. This cat, he goes around the country mowing lawns that really need it.
I watched his channel and I've not seen this one specifically.
I have seen this one. There are two,
I know of his channel though, because I've seen it before.
There are two parts. The one when he first meets her saying, hey, I would really like to mow your lawn.
Right.
And the question was, what do you charge? And he says, it's free. This is what
because
I do.
have a YouTube channel.
Yep. And then the second part is him going, it's good to see you again. By the way, I want to share with you what has happened since I stopped here the first time.
Yes.
This is the SP Mowing. This guy is actually really, really great because he does go around the country.
Well, and I've seen his videos where he'll get cops called on him.
Yeah.
For doing like illegal yard work.
Right.
Yeah. Which is crazy to me, but
yeah, go on.
Yeah,
I know of this cat and this story.
Yep.
I really do enjoy this story.
In a video posted on his YouTube channel on Friday, Spencer introduced his followers to Debbie. She, like most of his beneficiaries, has a terribly overgrown lawn and no money to hire anyone to take care of it.
Right.
In fact, Debbie, like Beth in a previous video, has no money at all. Debbie has had one of the hardest stretches of life imaginable, and she's been carrying most of it alone, SB Mowing said. It started when her husband was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and given 90 days to live. Debbie had to be caregiver until he passed away. During her grief, a contractor she'd hired for tree work took a $2,000 deposit and never showed up.
Yes.
What a piece of trash.
Yes.
Where's he at?
Yeah.
You have a brain like a chicken.
No, it's even worse.
Yeah.
Like this in the background. What the fuck is it with you?
Anyway, a neighbor wrecked her car and didn't pay for it. She fell 3 months behind on rent, put off dental and health care she genuinely needs, and there were days when she and her dogs went without food because she simply couldn't afford it.
She could barely walk around.
Right.
David.
According to KAKE News in Wichita, an Uber driver who took Debbie home from the grocery store reached out to Spencer and explained the elderly woman's situation. Spencer and his father then came out with their kit and spent 2 whole days battling back the years of overgrowth and carting it off to the landfill. Afterwards, they took a war chest of things that she had prepared to sell in a yard sale to Habitat for Humanity and brought back the cash without the work. Spencer's nonprofit SB Mow It Forward took care of Debbie's 3 months of back rent. Then he set up a GoFundMe that went viral. It raised $685,000 from more than 22,000 separate donations.
That's part 2 of the video, and the emotion on her face, and she's like, is that real?
Yes. Like, just I imagine just total disbelief.
Totally disbelief.
Yes. All of which has gone into a trust of which Debbie is the sole beneficiary.
Sure.
It's the kind of story that makes you pause in the face of someone saying that social media is all political arguments and cat videos. It is not.
It's not. In this SP Mowing, this cat proves that paying it forward, mowing it forward, it is a good thing. Just when you said the opening line, I'm like, okay, here we go again.
Yeah.
But then you said SP Mowing, and my ears pricked up, and I'm like, I know the story. I know the work that this guy does. Like I said, he travels around. He looks for lawns.
Yes,
that
he looks for these specific situations.
The situations, but he looks for the lawns that really need it too. And he does a pretty damn good job.
He does. He does a great job. Yeah. He does. So I mean, just him in general.
Yeah.
But with her, definitely winner of the week.
Thank you for that.
That's how winning is done.
Yes, it is.
It is. Yes, it is.
So, respect to it.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that cat up.
Yeah,
Yes.
I see that channel all the time. It's in my algorithm because I see it all the time and I watch, but I did not see that one. I will look for that because now I want to watch it since we had the story.
Yep.
So here we are, folks. Intermittent explosive disorder, part 2. So we talked in the last episode what it is, how it affects people, what the symptoms are. But today what we're going to look at is talking about recovery and taking back control of something that seems out of control for a lot of people.
As the individual having been
diagnosed as the individual
with this,
having that.
are we going to look at the other side of the equation of the spouse, the partner, the family member as well?
Yep.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
So we talked about what it is. Now we're going to talk about the most important thing, which is recovery.
Okay.
How do we address this issue now that it's here?
Okay.
Because again, it can feel overwhelming. It feels like you have no control over anything. But here's the thing. People can recover. People can change. Brains can change if you train them to act differently, and lives can improve.
There are ways to rewire your thinking.
So let's get into the next part of this. The brain can change. One of the greatest discoveries in neuroscience is neuroplasticity. If you've heard that term, you may have not heard that term. It's a way to create new neural pathways in your brain. By thinking differently or doing things differently, you can think differently.
This is neuroplasticity is what happens when somebody has a stroke.
Yes.
If they have to relearn certain ways to do things, and the brain is responsible for.
Another great example of that, Matt, is somebody who has aphasia. I don't know if you know that term.
I know aphasia,
but it's the inability to recall words or ideas or the thing you're thinking of. But these people are able to rewire their brains to work around the blockage and get the information they need. So it can be done, and I've seen it. I worked. Again, not to tout myself, but when I was in grad school, I was working in a facility for traumatic brain injured clients. That whole facility was focused on rewiring the brain and teaching it to think differently because part of it is damaged.
Right.
So you have to find new paths to think about things.
There is a show that unfortunately has been canceled, but it's called Brilliant Minds. I think I mentioned it to you before.
You may have, yeah.
Zachary Quinto,
okay,
the actor Spock.
Yes,
right?
Spock. Or Siler from Heroes.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, Siler. Yeah, he was the bad guy.
He was a great bad guy.
He was a
Yes.
great bad guy.
Yeah.
But his character in Brilliant Minds is a neurologist, and he really digs into the brain and helping people overcome certain things and weird things happen. It's like House, but with neurology.
Yes. So the fact is, our brains are consistently rewiring themselves based on experiences, based on emotion, based on actions. Every time you pause before reacting, every time you practice calming techniques, every time you respond differently to a situation that is different than your typical response, you're strengthening new neural pathways by doing that. And and here's the thing to think of, because people looking at it from the outside may just be like, stop getting angry. Yeah, that's a simplistic view, but it's the recovery isn't about never getting angry. It's about being angry, but knowing how to process it differently. That is the key, because you're going to be angry. You can't remove that. And as I've said before, probably many times in this podcast, emotions are real. You're going to have emotions. That's part of life, but it's how you deal with them that makes the difference.
Sure.
So one of the main things in the first step that we would do if I had somebody in my office with this diagnosis is that we need to identify triggers. What happens before some of these episodes occur?
Sure.
Like what leads up to it? And sometimes they're obvious, but sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're very subtle or very something that to anyone else would be like, really?
They didn't bring my water.
That's what you're doing about?
They didn't bring my water, David.
Again, and we've mentioned some of the things, but I'm just going to throw a list. Traffic, disrespect, arguments, poor sleep, stress at work, financial pressure, feeling ignored, feeling embarrassed. These explosions can happen over something very insignificant or tiny, but and here's the thing. The emotional fuel has been building and it's just ready to be ignited by any little thing. And if you look at it that way, it's like this pressure, and we talked about the pressure cooker in last episode to describe this. The pressure builds and builds and builds, and finally there has to be a release.
Right.
So the idea of identifying triggers is to identify it well before it gets to that point, in the very beginning. So one of the things that I encourage my clients to do, I want them to keep an anger journal.
Okay.
So here's the thing. And again, I'm not just touting things for whatever, but I also have a certification in anger management. So this is something I deal with a lot, and I know what works. So an anger journal is one of the most effective things you can do. So write down what happened, what were you feeling before the incident, how intense was your anger on a scale of 1 to 10,
okay,
how long did it last in minutes. And over time, as you start to analyze this, you start to become aware of these things before they start happening or as they're happening, so that you can kind of cut it off. So then we get into therapy. I mean, again, most mental illness, it can be helped with therapy. And I know I'm going to be realistic. I'm a therapist. I'm biased. It's what I do. It's what I've been doing for 34 years. A lot of people would be like, oh, therapy, are you going to go and talk about it? What good is that going to do? But no, here's the thing. For this, therapy does work. It's not simply talking about childhood or uncovering past traumas, although that may be part of it. But therapy nowadays, it teaches you skills. So cognitive behavioral therapy specifically helps challenge distorted thinking patterns, patterns that don't make sense. Acceptance and commitment therapy teaches people to notice emotions, but not take action on them. You can say, I feel this way, but I don't have to do anything. Dialectical behavioral therapy, which is DBT for short, teaches emotional regulation.
Not to be confused with the wrestling move DDT.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. And then some individuals also benefit from just trauma-focused therapies if they have earlier life issues that have caused some emotional dysregulation, let's say.
Okay.
So now we're going to get into another area that can be super helpful,
which is
hypnosis.
Okay.
Hypnosis is probably one of the best options to try to treat this disorder. Now, here's the thing. It's not a cure. I can't say you'll be fixed with it. But what it is that it helps reduce stress, improve relaxation, increase awareness of these emotional triggers, and reinforce healthier coping responses. And also, people with hypnosis, we teach them how to practice breathing, visualization, and emotional self-regulation. Because when we use hypnosis, people get into a state, what we call it, in the hypnosis lingo, we call it the trance state. And I know that sounds scary to some people, but it's that state of mind where your conscious mind is not fighting and arguing and making noise. It's just quiet.
Athletes do this all the time.
Athletes is a great example because especially, individual type sports, like golf, tennis, gymnastics, baseball is actually a good one, especially for hitters, because if you've ever played sports, I played baseball in high school, and this is something I've experienced. When baseball players get into what they call a slump, they might go 0 for 20. They might go 20 at bats without a hit, and their feeling is they're never going to get a hit again.
Right.
And that just compounds the problem. It becomes worse. You're kind of making that hole deeper, but changing the thought about it, the thinking about it, that's what makes a difference.
What's really intriguing to me in regards to sports is golf. All right.
Yes.
I know you golf. I know you're a golfer.
Yep.
I know, I golf. But you watch golfers today, and with what we know today, you can see them really just in their own heads in a good way.
Yes.
Right.
And I will say, Matt, that's a great example because because I golf, I watch a lot of golf video on YouTube.
Sure.
I'm subscribed to Danny Maud and Rick Shields and Bob Does Sports and all the golf channels. And again, a lot of those guys, they teach technique, but some of them focus on the mental part.
Sure.
One of the major things that a lot of them just stress is like, before you're shot, you need to stand back behind the ball, visualize exactly what's going to happen.
You watch it,
put it in your head.
I know he's going through a lot of issues right now, but Tiger, okay?
Yeah. Yep.
You go back and watch his videos,
Yes.
you know, the footage they got him, you see him visualize, walk behind the ball.
Yep.
He looks down the lane and he's got hundreds, thousands of people
Yes.
on either side of him down the fairway.
Yep.
He's so laser
Locked
focused,
in.
locked in.
Yep.
That is that state of trance that you're referring to.
Yes,
All right,
absolutely.
go on.
Yes. So the other thing that we have to look at with IED is it can damage relationships. And you can imagine if somebody's always, I shouldn't say always, but with IED, people freak out and that scares people. People fear for their safety. They feel for, they are concerned about the safety of the individual experiencing this. So one of the big things is repairing relationships. But what this does, it's not you giving in and just saying, oh, they win. It's not like that at all. The apologies that you give help you heal. It helps you feel better. Because when you have these episodes, you feel guilt. You feel bad about them. You feel bad about the people that were affected by it. So healing isn't just internal. Apologies are necessary. So, but here's the thing. This is not an apology. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
Yeah, that's
not an apology.
The tough part of that is if you do have a spouse, family member that holds a grudge, and they hold that grudge so long that it comes back 3 years later. You might have another episode.
Sure.
And then they bring what happened 3 years back.
Sure.
That grudge is there. That is not helpful.
No. It's when you hold on to things, it's never helpful.
No.
But the apology for people who are dealing with this, the apology should be, I hurt you. I take responsibility. I'm working to do better. That is the best way to address it, because trust returns then. And the people can at least understand because here's the dynamic. And I've seen it in my office numerous times doing family therapy. Somebody with IED, they're looked at as the bad guy.
Right.
He's ruining our marriage. He's ruining our family. His behaviors, we can't take it anymore. But they're not looking at it as a mental illness. They're looking at it as the person just being an asshole. And that's not what it is. That this is not in their control. And I know that sounds like a cop-out or an excuse.
It's pseudo, yes, but at the same time, there's a reason why.
Right.
And let's figure out the reason why.
Absolutely.
And it could be the family household dynamic at that point in time.
It could be. And it could be something that maybe the parents were always very aggressive and punitive. And I don't know. There are a lot of factors that could play in.
Yeah. Everyone's different.
So here's the thing that you have to do if you have IEDs. You have to build new habits. This would go back to the neuroplasticity idea. We have to create new neural pathways in your mind. Daily habits matter. So, and these are common sense things, but these are so important. Daily exercise.
Yeah.
Walking, jogging, working out, whatever it is. Sleeping at least 7 to 8 hours every night.
The best you
can. On a normal schedule.
The best you can.
The best you can. Mindfulness techniques. Again, just being aware of what's going on, what's happening right in this moment. Breathing exercises. Eating habits. You need to eat well to feel well. And again, these sound so simplistic, but these make a huge difference. Here's something that I'm aware of, but I've never seen it stated in an article or study. Low blood sugar can cause irritability.
Oh yeah.
So people who have diabetes, that may play into this.
They sometimes they call it hangry, but it's just real. It's just the blood sugar's low.
Yep. So so maybe you feel like maybe this is me, because I get these things where I just lose my mind and I flip out and I don't know why. So when should you seek help? Number one,
after you get a Snickers bar.
If you've ever become physically violent.
Okay. Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's one time or 100. If it's happened once, that's an issue. You
One
need
time
to get
is
help.
one
One
time
time
is
is enough. If you've ever involved a weapon, Weapon could be a glass thrown at somebody.
Right.
I'm not talking about firearms necessarily or knives, but anything that could hurt someone.
A candlestick in the study.
If you frighten your children,
Mm-hmm.
If someone has ever been injured because of your behavior,
Mm-hmm.
if any of those things are happening, you need to get help immediately.
Sure.
Because what will happen is that there might be one instance where you go too far and it's something you can't take back or can't fix.
Right.
If you seriously injure somebody, that it's hard to come back from that.
Very.
And here's the thing. The shame comes from the act of doing it and the shame afterwards. But the big thing is get help, because that's much less shameful than hurting a family member or friend or child.
Mm-hmm.
That is the big thing. So here's the thing. If you're listening to this episode, you might have some connection to this, whether it's you, whether it's a family member. The biggest thing is your actions in those few moments when you're experiencing this does not define you.
No.
That isn't, and I've said this to clients, and I've said it probably on this podcast. You're not your diagnosis. And I stress this to clients a lot. I'll get clients that come in first session. They say, oh, I had a therapist years ago. They diagnosed me as schizophrenic. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. But let's talk and see where I believe you're at.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times people take a hold of a diagnosis and that becomes their personality. They kind of embrace it rather than saying, oh, well, what can I do to get better?
Right. I'm going to live with it and just.
Exactly. So the big thing is you're not your diagnosis and you're not broken. Your brain is a organ that produces patterns, and it works in patterns. But here's the big thing. Your brain can learn new patterns.
Mm-hmm.
It can.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it might be difficult. It's not perfect. It may take some time. But if you're committed to changing your thinking, you can do that. And that's why hypnosis becomes a very effective tool at just calming down the brain. Because again, in theory, well, in practice also, I'm saying in theory like it doesn't exist, but when we do hypnosis, it's the most relaxed you can be without being asleep. And I guarantee if you had that feeling instead of this uprising of emotion and anger,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be less likely to happen because your mind is in that calm, relaxed state.
Mm-hmm.
And learning to just get there as quickly as you can when you're feeling any sort of frustration or any type, again, we need to take action when that first little thing starts to happen that makes you feel like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take action immediately.
And IED is, I'm sorry, you've said it so many times.
That's fine.
IED.
Intermittent explosive disorder.
Intermittent explosive disorder.
Yep.
You just look on social media pages, you just look around you,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see that it's affecting a lot of people around.
Absolutely.
You. And you need to be cognizant of those things, but then also as a supporter, as someone that can help them.
Right.
Do you want to put yourself into that situation? Are you going to fight or flight?
Right.
If you see it, are you going to walk away, or are you going to become a part of the solution?
And to be fair, Matt, the natural instinct of most human beings are to get away from it.
Sure.
Nobody wants to see somebody punching walls or throwing things or yelling or screaming. We want to get away from that as quickly as we can. The problem is, what if it's your child? What if it's your parent? What if it's your sibling? What if it's your best friend? And again, I don't want to make excuses because behavior is behavior, but we have to look at the reasons for it and say, you can set boundaries, but still be supportive.
Got it.
That is the key thing.
That's fair.
And you can just say, listen, I'm not going to be around you when you're like this. I'm here to support you if you want to get help.
Right.
That is the big thing.
Man.
And as I've said to so many clients over the years, every client that comes into my office the first time, everybody's effed up. Everybody has things they need to work on. Nobody's perfect. There are degrees, of course, but if somebody's working on something, then support them with that. Even if it's not perfect, it's never going to be perfect. Healing is a progress. It doesn't happen overnight.
Sure.
It's change over time. And here's the thing. Once people start having calmer conversations or better relationships, or think to themselves, I haven't had an angry outburst in months. It changes the whole way they approach things, because they're like, I don't need to go back to that. This is so much better.
Sure.
And once you get there, you'll feel it. You'll see it. So here's the thing. If you have this, or you know somebody that does, definitely seek out treatment. That's the best thing.
Got it.
And again, implement some of the strategies we've talked about as far as an anger journal. I think that is probably one of the most effective things, because it makes you aware of what happens before you freak out. And that is the key thing, to catch it early, to head it off before it gets too bad. All right.
There's a lot.
It's a lot. And I know so those of you who are listening, I mean, if you have any questions on this topic, I know we do podcasts on all kinds of different things, but reach out through my Facebook page. I'd be happy to answer questions or talk to you about it. But the big thing is that this can be a very difficult thing to deal with. It's broken up families. It's broken up marriages. It's difficult. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with, especially for those who are on the outside trying to help the person who's dealing with it. And it's easy to say, you know what, I'm not dealing with this anymore. You need to just go away, whatever. Dismiss them.
Right.
But the thing is, they need help. That's the bottom line. Even though you're looking at them and you're not happy with them and you're disappointed and you're scared and you're angry, they need help. So, encourage them to get the help they need.
Got it.
And it can get better. I'm telling you, I've seen it. I've seen it get better. So that is intermittent explosive disorder.
It's a lot. So do your own research, do your own due diligence around it. If you, like David said,
and I'm going to say, if you have questions on this, reach out. You can do some reading on it. And I know there are a lot of people out there who might be like, these diagnoses, they're just made up to give excuses for people to act like fools. That's not true. And in this case, that is not the fact. No, that is not the case. All right, folks, that is our episode, Intermittent Explosive Disorder. So before we go, somebody needs a home.
Who would be?
Paulo.
Paulo's
I've never heard of this dog.
Okay.
A Catahoula leopard dog.
Catahoula leopard dog? Let me see this.
He's 3 years old. He's a male. He's 61 pounds.
Okay.
Paulo.
Catahoula. Look at the marbling on that young man. Holy shnikes.
Well, and I have a feeling that's why it's called a leopard dog.
Yeah.
That would be my guess.
Look at those spots. Brown, black, gray. Yeah.
He's a handsome dude.
Yeah, he is. He's got really bright eyes, too.
He's got those, he's got those white, blue eyes. Yeah. So anyway, Paulo needs a home. DetroitDogRescue.com/adopt.
Please do it.
Give him, look at him. He just wants to sit on your bed and just relax.
That's what he's doing right now.
Go and get him. Yeah. All righty, folks, that is our show. We'll be back next week. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but it'll probably be good. Who knows?
We know.
In the meantime, change your thinking, change your life, laugh hard, run fast, be kind. We'll see you next time.